A Paul Hollywood handshake is what all British bakers, and a lot of American ones too, want to receive. Fans of the Great British Baking Show know what it means. But for those of you who don't know, it means you've baked something to absolute perfection. That's just raw or you've overbaked it are two things no baker ever wants to hear, especially not from Paul or Prue. About the only thing worse would be for them to say both things about the same bake. However, there is one way those things could be said together that is far worse than hearing it from a baking judge, and that is hearing it from God, the eternal judge, which is exactly what Israel heard in Hosea 7, verse 8, except this was his description of the people of Israel. Ephraim has become a cake not turned. The cake in this verse is a flat, round cake, much like an American pancake. Imagine being handed a plate full of pancakes that are burnt on one side and raw on the other. They are inedible. Even dogs would refuse to eat them. They are fit only to be thrown out. And that is God's description of Israel, fit only to be thrown out. He called them Ephraim in this text because Jacob gave the second son of Joseph his blessing and the double portion typically given to the oldest child. God's prophets often used Ephraim as representative of the whole nation. In the middle of a text where Hosea was pronouncing God's judgment on the nation, he introduced a series of metaphors to illustrate what Israel had done to itself by mixing idolatry with their worship of Jehovah. Hosea 7 verses 8 through 16 tell us that Israel had become an unturned cake, slaves to strangers, old and worn out, a brainless dove, and a deceitful bow. Despite his words of instruction and warning given through Moses and the prophets, Israel had not returned to God nor sought him, but wandered away, rebelled, and spoke lies against him. Moreover, they did not cry out to him from the heart, but turned away, devised evil against him, and were insolent. As a result, God was going to trap them in a net, chastise them publicly, let destruction come upon them and their princes fall by the sword, and turn their insolence toward him into derision against them. Do we care more about getting the world's approval, call it our version of a Paul Hollywood handshake, than God's? If so, then all those descriptions apply to us, and so do the descriptions of judgment. Maybe not immediately and earthly, but definitely in the ultimate and far worse way of eternal exclusion from the presence of God. Getting the world's handshake is worthless if God considers us an unturned cake. Thank you for watching Morning Minutes in the Bible on An American Missionary. Until next time, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.